Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video I'm going to be showing you how you can achieve this easy, inexpensive board and batten DIY wall. So as you can see, we started off with a blank canvas and we used 2x3s from Home Depot. You can honestly use any size that you feel comfortable with. I just kind of liked the look of the 2x3s. So we're starting off by, we just had to measure where we wanted to do our cuts. So I kept my baseboard on my wall. So we just cut the little piece off where my baseboard is. So that's what you see Nick doing here. Just make sure that you measure this correctly. Also, I'll mention before you begin, just make sure that you have the measurements of your wall before you go to get your wood so you can get to the correct amount. We ended up using 10 pieces. Then we just checked before doing the other cuts to ensure that the board fit properly on the wall. Once we knew the board fit on the wall, we just went ahead and cut the remaining of the pieces, so we just measured them off and cut them all the same. Then next was, in my opinion, kind of the trickiest part because it involved some math, but we measured our wall once again just to see how far apart we wanted to space the boards. So I think we went with 13.5 for ours. Just make sure that you measure this so that they're all spaced apart evenly. Honestly speaking, if they're off a tiny bit, you probably won't even be able to tell, but just try and do your best to make sure that they're all evenly spaced apart. So that's what you see us doing here. We actually didn't have a nail gun. If you guys have one, I highly recommend using that instead, but we just opted for construction glue. Honestly speaking, this worked for the majority of the pieces, and then a couple of the pieces of the wood were slightly bowed, so we ended up just nailing a few into the wall just to secure them. And then we made our own spacer. We found this the easiest way to kind of proceed with the project, so Nick just cut a piece of wood 13.5, I believe, inches long, and then we just used 2 of those to ensure that everything was spaced apart evenly. So he put one at the top, I would put one at the bottom, and then we would secure the board once everything was set aside on our spacer tightly, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. It wouldn't be a DIY project if we didn't have our little helper Theo here to make sure that we're getting the job done properly and we're staying on track. So we just continued this process for the remainder of the boards until we completed. So once again, Nick is just placing a spacer at the top. I would place one at the bottom. We would secure the board, press it on, hold that there for about 10 seconds, and then continue on with the next board and so on and so forth. Once all the boards were secured, the next step was to caulk everything and make sure you use a caulking gun. This step is very crucial, so make sure you don't forget this. This is just essential to fill in any little gaps that you may see, which does happen with DIY projects. Same thing, you'll probably have a small gap on the top or the bottom of the board, so just make sure that all of those are filled in. Then the final step was to paint everything. This definitely was a little bit time consuming, not too bad. We ended up doing 2 coats. So while Nick was just finishing all of the caulking, I went ahead and started painting. We just opted for like a classic off-white. This is for our future nursery, if you guys didn't know. Honestly though, board and batten looks good anywhere in your home. I've seen it done in bedrooms, I've seen it done in living rooms, in dining rooms. It just really gives some character and dimension to a space, so I think you can't really go wrong with it, in my opinion. So this is just what you see me doing here. I'm going to finish painting this wall. I just used a roller, and then to fill in all the corners of the boards and the tops and the bottoms and the trims, of course, I used a paintbrush. And once all of the painting was complete, this was the final product. I absolutely love how it turned out. I think it's classic. It adds so much to the room, and I can't wait to finish this room and take you guys along for that. But I do hope you found this video helpful and informative. Maybe it gave you guys some DIY inspiration for your home. If you did enjoy it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you guys haven't done so already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you join along. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.